Up next on the CloneOhm series, the saga continues. We're going to look at this, the Maven RBA. The original one is by Protocol. It's a follow-up, it's a departure from their primary RBA that they've been doing renditions of for years. So this came out in 2023. I got it pretty late because it did come out kind of early in the year. And now they did a couple little versions of this, but they're already on to the next thing. So they didn't hang on to this like they did with the Atom and do different versions of it. So that's the Atom right here on the left. This is their first RBA, and this is the first V1 styling of it. After this, they did the Biohazard version that I did a review for, and then they did the MK2, the Mark II version, and those two are just a little bit bigger, but they still kind of keep that boxy styling. This is more cylindrical, like you would see with a Mob Mini, for example. You have Maven written in there. Now, they did other versions of this with some really fancy looking engraving that I really like. But this being a clone, of course, they don't have that. They have the stainless steel version, and they also have a black version of this clone. So this wasn't priced too crazy like the authentic one. I think it was under 200, which all protocol stuff was, like RBA wise, was all generally more expensive. You know, it was on the higher end. Most of them were like $200 new. So I guess the main thing to compare this to would be probably a Mob Mini. So it might be a little tough to see. One, the juice flow ports are not facing the right direction. They're to the sides in the Boro, but they're about that same height in there. You know, you see what I mean about the cylindrical factor. I really wanted to show you the juice flow port because that's what's different about this. It's an oval juice flow port, and it's actually a lot smaller than what the Mob Mini would be. Here's this, for example. I'll show you this recent thing we did, the Nutsu. That has a fairly big wicking port right there, and it's round. And the Mob it's a little more oblong, but it's pretty round as well. This is very oval, and there's really no other RBA that did this shape, this very oval cut right in the side like this. So that was a big appeal for it. It kind of has that, like, the styling, like the aesthetic look to it, kind of has that like Star Wars-ish Boba Fett look to it. I mean, that's kind of subjective, but that's kind of what I gauge from it. The O-ring tolerances on this clone are perfect. This is dry, and it's just perfect. I can't imagine the build quality of the authentic being all that different to this, because all the tolerances on this clone are great. Now, this is a little tight, just pulling that collar off. It may have just been a little snug with that O-ring, but you screw it right down to the base, which is convenient. You don't have to worry about keeping track of adapters. But it's a pretty long pin, but so is the Atom. Protocol has this thing where they make a lot of threads, they make a long pin. At times that's given me a lot of trouble with dry firing certain mods. You have to have an adjustable 510 mod to really take advantage of that. Otherwise, it may not read properly, or it could be, I mean, it's better to be long than short, but it could be cumbersome. Build deck's pretty simple, but well done. I mean, there's a nice little space here for you to, you know, you need to have some space for your cotton. And there's some RBAs that kind of fell short on that, like the Jenna RBA just didn't give you any room. They make a bunch of different customizable, I should say, pieces like this, and also this piece comes out. You can see the cutout right there. I mean, this removes. You can mix match. You know, you can color match those, and you know, you can have the base, the body of it one color, and then yeah, go wild with it. And that's kind of what Monarchy does a lot. They make it so you can customize their stuff. And here we have Protocol doing the same thing. So here's the dome of it. Sorry, it's not all that clean. So you can see those cutouts even in the ceiling of this top cap, which is interesting. Let's just play with these tolerances real quick. Oh my god, could you hear it? Perfect. It even snapped that one time. You know what I mean? You can't argue with that. Now this did have a little bit of a taste to it when I first got it. A little bit of a machine oil vibe. Now I feel like I'm pretty sensitive to that kind of thing compared to some other people. Some other people don't notice that. I do. But after a few cleanings, I did resolve all that. I don't have any trouble with that anymore. Flathead screws, which is different. Usually Protocol did hex screws. Not the tiny ones, but the slightly bigger ones, which I did like. In the Atom. The Atom had pretty good post screws, so why they got rid of that, I don't know. I'm not crazy about flatheads, but they don't bother me that much either. It's just those 0.9 hexes that worry me, because even if you have a perfect tool, they are liable to strip. Yeah, so I mean, I could take all this apart. That coil's pretty good. I've only put a few builds through, or a few wicks through this. So the coil's still pretty good. I could tell you about the pins. Like, you know, typical SXK packaging here. Stainless steel black ring. So for the accessories, I mean, it did like a gold, a black, and I think the other color was white. So this RBA, I don't know, it's probably like 28 bucks. Could be a little less, I'm not sure. 21 maybe. And then I think the accessory pack is like $15 or maybe up to 18. Now, this is weird. Usually with clones, you get all the pins. So here we have a 3.5. Sorry about the glare. And on this one, I think this is a 4. But the problem is, I mean, usually with clones, you get all the pin sizes. You know, whereas the authentic, you got to buy every individual pin or in packs of 3s. The benefit of clones was they always gave you all the pins. And even if you had the authentic and you didn't feel like buying individual pins, you could buy clone pins, put them in your authentic, stuff like that. It's, you know, a way to save money. They're basically the same thing. And, but no, you only got 2 of them with this. Although that was exactly how they sold this. The Atom only came with 2 pins. You had to buy the rest separately. So why they do that with some clone brands and not others, or clone products and not others, I don't know. I think it's kind of screwed up, but I'm going to run 3.5. I mean, I usually like anywhere from 3 to 4. So not only did it come with this like post screw here, but it also has like the post screw plate with it, which is pretty unusual. You don't see that very often. Like this, the plate in there that's meant to trap your leads or whatever. Yeah, you don't see that too often with the accessory packs. And so the coil I have in here is a 2.5 ID. That's generally what I run in all of my Bora Bridge RBAs. Got a little take off a couple strands of this stock BP cotton. Running through pretty nice there. We want some tension, but not too much at all. We want it relatively loose in there. Wiggle it back and forth to kind of work it in a little more. It could have had slightly less resistance, but it's gonna do. Anything bigger, I just don't need it. It's longer ramp up, and you know, I'm not crazy about like hot vapes and high wattages, and you know, it's just pointless to me. You're wasting more juice, you're wasting more power, battery, so no need for all that. So even though I'm not like an MTL guy, I still don't see the need for any of that. So I do a lot of 45-degree cuts, whether they're from above or below. I like to definitely give a good haircut to these things. So I'll probably take off a little bit more once I wick it up or wet it, but that's about right. That's about how much I'm gonna take off. It might end up being a little more. Although I didn't really heat this one up, which I should have. The only reason I didn't last time was because I couldn't, because I didn't have that 510 adapter, but this time there was no need for it. I do know it's reading though. This reads a 0.31, which is pretty low. In my opinion, I would have rather had like a 0.4, 0.5 in this. But, so my wattages will have to be higher now because of this, but, you know, because it's not the biggest chamber, such a low build in here. So I'll pinch these kind of closed and slide her over. Now, it's going to be too much. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get this, like I said, this is the most used tool, this flathead. I'm going to try to flatten some of this in there. Not too forcefully, because I don't want to like crush and condense the cotton, but what I should do is cut it a little shorter, is what I should do. Get it real close to the edges. Alright, hopefully the cap will go on a little more cleanly now. I hope I didn't take too much off, but this thing wicks really good. It's, like I said, it's one of the better RBAs to come out this year, or last year. I kind of wish I got to it sooner. I just thought it was going to be another RBA. They already have another RBA out. I'll put it in the post, or in the video, but forget the name at the moment. That looks really cool and all. Still, it's a cylindrical thing. It looks like it actually kind of looks like a Hakuzeta, the new one. But it's got like a slit, a rectangular, a horizontal slit juice flow port instead of this vertical oblong one like this has. So yeah, we're reading and firing. The hopefully you can see this. The ports are covered. Yeah, so my ports are all covered. You know, but they're not sticking out or anything like that. Just enough to cover it. That's what the bore looks like in there on this. Yeah, it's not a super wide bore. It's pretty standard. I like a tighter bore chimney, actually, regardless of what my airflow is. It only condenses flavor, in my opinion. That is it on here. It's reading 0.32. We'll see if it goes up from there. So I just threw it in a stock authentic Proro. And this thing clicked into place perfectly. I didn't forget to put my collar and decorative beauty ring thing back on, which that's something I often do with these kind of RBAs. Okay, finally something I can put in my Harpy HarboR HarboR. Finally something I can put in my Harpy HarboR, and it actually reads. So if I could get the door on. So let's see. Picking up at a 0.43, which is right on the money. That's exactly what I would like. So yeah, what I'm gonna put in here is Can Only Be Cookie by Casadega. It's excellent. It's excellent. This is oh, by the way, this is also a protocol tip, quantum tip. So everything's protocol in this setup, except for the mod itself. Really like this RBA. If this RBA came out back when I did my top 10 list or whatever, I could see it being in the list. I don't know where I'd place it, but it would be in the list. It's that good. It's very smooth. It's a smooth hit for whatever reason. I mean, it's just like anything. It's just like all the other ones. The pins don't look any different. The it's undercoil wicking. It's very straightforward, just like 90% of the RBAs out there. Why some of them give you different draws than others, I don't even know anymore. I don't know, like why, the slightest differences can give you like a whole different vibe, and that's kind of what this is. Like, I get why an orbit would be smooth. It's very different compared to most of the stuff out there. Why is this extra smooth? I don't know. I don't know, but I like it, and if you were to just get one RBA, like, this could be one to, like, get you by, like, to just be, and you could get these used for, like, $80. Protocol, like, every month does mega drops, GDoc sign-ups and stuff, and you can get a brand new one, probably for, like, $100 or $120 or something like that. I think when they came out, they were, like, $200 or $150, like, the prices keep going down for everything, basically, because it's just so flooded at this point and stuff. So everything's getting cheaper. So you may not even have to buy a used one. They're pretty plentiful. They're not like super rare. So you should be able to get one easily enough. It's definitely worthwhile. I could definitely recommend it. It wicks extremely fast, very efficient, very easy. It's hard to wick wrong. Yeah, great flavor. So that's it. I'll see you.